ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining today's Srimad Bhagavatam reading. So, we are going to read today from uh, third canto, 23rd chapter, from 44 through 46 slokas. There are not much purports, so we are going to read these three slokas. Okay, so the first one is the 44th sloka of 23rd chapter, third canto. Vibhajya navadata navadatmanam मानवीं सुरतो सुखम रमां निर्माण्यान् रमे वर्षापूगान् मुहूर्त्वत. Word by word meaning. Vibhajya, having divided, Navadha, into 9, Atmanam, himself, Manavim, the daughter of Manu, Devahuti, Suratha, for sex life, Utsukam, who was eager, Ramam, to his wife, Niramanyam, Niramanyan, giving pleasure, Reme, he enjoyed Varsa Pugan for many years, Muhurtavat, like a movement. Translation. After coming back to his hermitage, he divided himself into 9 personalities just to give pleasure to Devahuti, the daughter of Manu, who was eager for sex life. In that way, he enjoyed with her for many, many years, which passed just like a moment. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Here, the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu, Devahuti, is described as Surato Sukha. After traveling with her husband all over the universe in the Mount Meru and in beautiful gardens of the heavenly kingdoms, she naturally became sexually stimulated. And in order to satisfy her sexual desire, Kardama Muni expanded himself into 9 forms. Instead of one, he became 9. And 9 persons had sexual intercourse with Devahuti for many, many years. It is understood that the sexual appetite of a woman is 9 times greater than that of the man. That is clearly indicated here. Otherwise, Kardama Muni would have had no reason to expand himself into 9. Here is another example of yogic power. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead can expand himself in millions of forms, a yogi can also expand upon up to 9 forms, but not more than that. Another example is that of Shabhara Muni. He also expanded himself into 8 forms. But however powerful a yogi may be, he cannot expand himself into more than 8 or 9 forms. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, however, can expand himself into millions of forms, Ananta Rupa, innumerable, countless forms, as stated in Brahma Samhita. No one can compare to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by any conceivable energetic manifestation of power. So let's read 45th shloka. Tasmin vimana utkrastam sayyam ratikarim srita na na chabudhyata tam kalam patyapi se pisyena sangata. Synonyms. Tasmin, in that, Vimane, airplane, Utkristam, excellent, Sayyam, a bed, Ratikarim, increasing sexual desire, Sritha, situated on, Na, not, Cha, and Abhudyatha, she noticed, Tam, that Kalam, time, Patya, with her husband, Apichyena, most handsome, Sangata, in company. Translation. In that aerial mansion, Devahuti, in the company of her handsome husband, situated on excellent bed that increased sexual desires, could not realize how much time was passing. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Sex indulgence is so enjoyable for materialistic people that when they engage in such activities, they forget how time is passing. Saint Kardama and Devahuti in their sex indulgence also forgot how time was passing by. 46th श्लोक एवं योगानुभावेन दम्पत्यो रमामानायोः सतां व्यतीयुः शरदः कामलालसयोर्मानक. Synonyms. Evam, thus, yoga anubhavena, by yogic powers, Damapatyoho, the couple, Ramamana Yoha, while enjoying themselves, Satam, 100, Vyatiyuhu, past, Sharadhaha, autumns, Kama, sexual pleasure, Lalasayoho, who were eagerly longing for Manaka, like a short time. Translation. while the couple who eagerly longed for sexual pleasure were thus enjoying themselves by virtue of mystic powers. 100 autumns passed like a brief span of time. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Okay, so today we are reading these three slokas from 44 through 46 of Canto 3, um, 23rd chapter. So the subject is, in one sense, sensitive and also very important topic from both material and spiritual dimensions or perspectives, in my opinion. So here in the first sloka, the sloka talks about Kardama Muni and Devahoti. So they are the hero and heroine of today's pastimes. So Kardama Muni, as you know, he is the son of the Brahma, and Brahmaji uh, requests Kardama Muni to create progeny, to create children, but he was not inclined for that. But however, upon request of Brahma, he says yes. But before that, he goes for tapasya for several years. I believe it's almost uh, 10,000 years, I think, or 1,000 years, something very fast time. He is in deep meditation on the Supreme Personality of God, Lord Sri Krishna. And then Devahuti is the daughter of Swambhuva Manu. So, um, as they were orchestrated to be part of in this Leela, so they gets married. And then Kardama Muni, one condition he puts, that is, yes, he will accept the service of creating children with Devahuti, but once the child is born, he will go back to tapasya. So that was a condition. So, and then in this particular shloka, so it is said that Devahuti was longing for this, the desire of sexual. Uh, so Kardam Muni as a uh, rightfully his husband, right? So rightfully to fulfill her desire, he expands into nine forms. So so that is very interesting. In the comments, Srila Prabhupada highlights on that. Um, and another word before that, Srila Prabhupada also in the purport highlights that Suratoksha. So here's Suratoksha is nothing but mm, Devahuti is described as Suratoksha, meaning she's longing for this sexual activity. So Srila Prabhupada says in this material world, up to these yogis using their mystic powers, they can expand up to probably 8 to 9 forms, but they cannot go beyond that one. So this is clearly Srila Prabhupada says that only the Supreme Lord can do that because he is Ananta Rupa. He can manifest in several forms, and not only that, at same time. So this is Lord Sri Krishna in his pastimes, Vrindavan pastimes, particularly the Ras Leela pastime. He manifests in innumerable because there are so many gopis, and to fulfill their desire, he expands to into many thousands of the uh, forms, and there are so many gopis are there. None felt that everybody was desiring that, well, I can be alone with Krishna. That was their desire. And to fulfill their desire, he expands however many gopis are there to such many forms to fulfill their desire. So clearly, here the Lord demonstrated that aspect. And whereas here, Kardam Muni expanding to nine forms. So that is the one Srila Prabhupada is highlighting. Since the topic of Sri Krishna's pastime, the in the Vrindavan Rasalila has come. So I want to little bit touch. In the society, there is a lot of misconception is there, and especially sometimes people use in a very jokingly this Rasalila. That is lack of poor funda of Vedic knowledge. And here, some of the bullet points I want to bring it to your attention. Um, it is said that during the whole conversation of the Bhagavatam, there is no mention of Radharani, the author who is speaking, Sukadev Goswami and Sutta Goswamis. They never talk about these Radharani. They don't take that name. So some people say how it is bona fide, and they think why not Krishna is um, always any Krishna temple you go, you see Radharani. Why not Rukmini? So these kind of questions they ask. Very legitimate questions. We should not deny that because that is how they treat the Radharani is a lover, but whereas Krishna and Astasakis are the um, formally married. So they, from a mundane perspective, they attribute that relationship is not formal. So that is how the society at large, without whose doesn't have this understanding, look at that way. So here is um, we need to educate because these pastimes are very potent and very important, so that misconception need to be removed. First of all, first the question is, in the throughout Bhagavatam, when Radharani, who is Radharani? Radharani is nothing but the Krishna's manifestation. She takes she comes into this world creation from the Krishna's left hand. And when in the uh, uh, Krishna, that is how she's part and parcel. She is none other than, she is the Bhava, Prema Tattva of the Krishna. So that is how she manifests. So that is the first clear understanding we should have. So thereby all other misunderstandings will go away. And then another thing in the Srimad Bhagavatam, so when she is the Prema Tattva of Lord Sri Krishna, if you look at in the Bhagavatam, this Prema Tattva is very, very much, very often it is described. So in that form, it is described. And then the other question is why the author did not take direct name, because he's a realized soul. So when he takes Radharani's same name, he goes into ecstasy. But whereas this conversation is happening between the Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadev Goswami, right? So in that assembly, he has only, Parikshit Maharaj has only 7 days. So if he takes the Radharani's name, he goes into ecstasy. So the task at hand is to narrate the pastimes of the Lord in the 7 days. So that is the reason he doesn't take the Radharani's name. But however, fast forward, if you look at the 10th chapter is considered very, very important, because here directly Lord Krishna's pastimes have been narrated. So in that pastime, in the 10th canto also, the Ras Leela is in 5 chapters. So that itself emphasizes how transcendental these pastimes, this particular Rasa Leela. So in society, whatever that misconception is there should be trashed or should be clarified with these details. And now coming to this Rasa Leela also, the gopis are, what is their past life? These gopis are none other than they are very exalted yogis. In the previous avatar, when the Rama, in the Rama avatar, when he was in the exile in the forest, these yogis were mesmerized looking at the handsomeness, beautiful features of the Rama, and they were he having this bhava with, oh, I wish I could be his lover or his wife. That kind of feelings they had, and to fulfill that. In the Krishna avatar, they manifest as gopis. So that is the whole background people don't have, and people take it in a loose way, which is in one sense aparad. And see, sometimes we call right ignorance is bliss. So that is what is happening. So that is one thing. And next, Krishna, this Raslila, they are put so much in test. It doesn't happen just he when he played flute, they just came. No, they were hankering. And then, I mean, this whole pastime itself, if we have to describe, it takes several hours. But just I, in the subject has come and the relevance, in that relevance, I am just a little bit sharing my thoughts on this Ras Leela. So, but when they came, it's not, the gopis were in big dilemma, because that is they have to choose this samsara or this paramatma. So that is a big dilemma. So it is a test, big test for them, because the moment they heard the flute, they just ran wherever. I mean, there is a beautiful description in the Bhagavatam. The gopis, whatever the activities they were in, they just ran the calling for the Supreme Lord. And there is a conversation also happens between the gopis, and the gopis came, and then the Lord asked, why did you come? I'm just playing my flute. But why you have gave up your samsaric duties, your responsibility, and you are coming? The Lord is testing, and the gopis were these words were literally shooting like an arrows to their heart, because these gopis are so totally, uh, I mean, in love with the Lord Krishna. So they were put so much, and the 5 chapter itself understand how much test that the Lord puts them, to make sure that are they completely, are they ready to accept for that surrender. So it's not easy, and these this and at the end, with the help of the Radha Rani, the chief gopi, who is the embodiment of the Prema Tattva, she facilitates them to be in to come to the Krishna. So there is a beautiful, all these pastimes are there within that Ras Leela. So it is very important that we need to understand this is not a mundane activity from the lens of our materialistic point of view. It is a transcendental activity, and these are none other than great yogis. They were having this bhava, whatever sometimes we may call lust. Yes, that lust or whatever that bhava they want, that bhava was fulfilled by the Lord in the when he was in the Vrindavan Leela as part of that one. So that is important. And that is the reason. And then who is Radharani? She is none other than, she just manifested from the left hand of the Lord Krishna. So she is eternally Krishna. So the Lord is, see, Krishna means Karshayati is the Krishna, meaning he is very attractive. See, whoever comes in contact, with Krishna, they are so attracted, whether demons or devatas, whoever it is, they are so attracted. And then Krishna also a source of bliss, and whereas Radharani is a prema tattva, is a source of love. So, in order to be joyful, one need to have that prema tattva or love for the Supreme Lord. Then only that supreme bliss we can experience. Right? Bhagavad Gita says, and our scripture says, right, we are not this body, we are soul, and this nature of the soul is what is it? Sachit Ananda. It is eternally the Ananda Swarupa. So that Ananda Swarupa is we are. So because even Krishna says, right, in the Bhagavad Gita clearly, we are part and parcel of him. So when we are part and parcel of that, qualities are there within us. But however, quantitatively we may not have. So it is very important that that prema tattva is the supreme everything. So you may know how this prema tattva is superior to everything. So probably you may know this pastime, but just I will utter. One time when Krishna was in Dwaraka, he was having a headache, and at that time, obviously, the Vaidya was called, and then he says, "Wow." Then he says, "This there is no cure for this. The only cure is." I mean, even Vaidyas and so many other people come. This we don't know. They say, and finally, then Narada Muni comes. And when Narada Muni comes, then he looks at and then he says, "Well, I have one plan that this headache can be revealed on by applying the dust of the his devotee." And then this news spreads all over the Dwaraka, and nobody is dare to do that, including Ashtasakis, because it's Mahaparad. What to, I mean, even thinking in that yuga, anything something wrong itself is punishable, and what to perform an activity giving their dust to apply on the forehead of the l- Lord, that is it's Mahaparad. So nobody want to give that because the repercussions, the consequences are dire. So they don't want to go through that. Somehow this news goes to the Vrindavan, and then gopis learn that their dear lover, their prananatha in one sense, is having this headache. And then one after the other gopi, they say, "We are ready to give our dust, our feet dust." Then then they inquire, "Why you are? Don't you know that is Narayana is the supreme Lord, and how you can give? The consequences are dire. You can go to the hell, life after life. You may be in that." Then they said, "We don't care what happens to us. We want to make sure that our Lord is happy. That is all we want." Look at that. See, this is the bhava of the prema tattva. So one who has that unmotivated, unalloyed love for that individual, they can go to any extent. That is demonstrated by gopis. That is the reason we say the topmost bhaktas are devotees of the Supreme Lord, gopis. And then that is the reason one should in the society we need to educate people. The reason I expanded on this because this is a very topic often we hear they comment like this, so we have to clearly educate them. So that is the reason I'm highlighting this one in this context, because the Ras Leela is equated to some sexual activity. This is very, very utterly nonsensical understanding, which we should be very clear. So this is the Prema Tattva. So the gopis are the topmost. Now we are very glad that we are also called Rupanugas, right? We are the followers of the Rupa Goswami. He has uh, given us literature. We follow that. That's the reason we are called Rupanugas. And Rupa Goswami gets how he get this understanding by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And who is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Is none other than the Lord Sri Krishna in appeared on the Boloka to experience the bliss a devotee experiences. See, Lord is also looking, see, all my devotees are so blissful, and he want to enjoy that, he want to experience that, and that's the reason he takes he appeared as a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he gave us, as you know, the simplest form of perfecting our life, evoking our love for Krishna, and maturing that love for the Krishna, that prema bhava, and that is the reason. And also, who is Rupa Goswami? Rupa Goswami is none other than he gives this bhava for us. So it's very important for us to understand that one. Okay, so in the purport, as it is said, the human beings with their yogic powers may go for up to 9 forms of extension, but not multiple forms, more than 9. Maximum is 9. But whereas Supreme Lord is Anantarupa, is Anantarupa. So this is the beauty of this one. Now let's little bit uh, go to the next one. And before that, how this see, we have Varnashrama Dharma. One time, Srila Prabhupada was asked, what is the um, uh, uh, I mean, why society, how society should be conducting. So Srila Prabhupada points out the lack of Varnashrama Dharma practice in our current society. The chaos is happening. Now, little bit we'll indulge into that one. We'll discuss on that one. How Varnashrama Dharma is um, uh, important. These are also a lot of myths are there, right? Varna and Ashrama. What are the 4 Varnas are there? Right? Those Varnas we know, right? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. These are the 4 Varnas. And people say, oh, the Lord has divided the society, and the discrimination is there. Lord never divided. Lord never divided. In fact, Bhagavad Gita he clearly says, yes, Chaturn Varnam Maya Srishta. He says, yes, I have divided the society for the functioning perspective. But how one individual becomes what Varna he belongs, that depends on their character. So how, what is their mood, that makes, it's not by birth. Say for example, if I born to a Brahmana family and my activities are of Shudra nature, I am not considered Brahmana. But in society, that is what is happening. That is the reason that misconception is there. So just by a person is in that particular born in that particular family, it doesn't. Of course, there is an advantage. Say for example, if I born in a Brahmana family, and if they are practicing the devotional or their practices, then it is a boon for me that okay, my practice the begins from my birth itself, and I can perfect my life. That is the bone. And based on that, they may be. So, but the summary is Varnas are created by the Supreme Lord. But what Varna one belongs depends on that their nature. What is their nature? So it is because of that. So that misconception also need to be removed. A person just because born in Shudra family is not a Shudra. If his activities are Brahmanical in nature, then he should be considered as a Brahmana. So that one thing we need to clearly clearly clarify. And then comes ashrama. We have 4 ashramas, right? The Brahmacharya, then Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa ashram. So this also very important. Why? See, in olden days, once the child is born, they strictly used to observe these 4 ashramas. Now, what is that? So, in the Brahmacharya ashrama. So in the Brahmacharya ashrama, they used to go to the Gurukulas. And then these Gurukulas are not, it's not a day school. They can go in the morning and come afternoon, and they are not like that. They used to exclusively go to the ashramas where Guru is there, and then they used to live with him, and then they used to serve the Guru. That is how they used to acquire the knowledge. So, unlike in the current modern society where we go to the colleges, universities, or schools, but generally we are not through service we are acquiring our knowledge, because this is a material knowledge. But the knowledge that they used to get is a spiritual knowledge, meaning beyond this temporary material knowledge. So they used to serve, because even Krishna says, right, Bhagavad Gita in Bhagavad Tadvidi Pranipatena, by serving the Guru or the realized soul, one gets that knowledge or the realizations of the scriptures, or what is our duty in this, why we actually came to this world, what is our purpose, all that knowledge they used to acquire. So in the Brahmacharya, that is, then after that, once the Guru says, yes, now you are ready to go into society or whatever, then they can practice, whether they can choose either vanaprastha or whatever the factor. So by observing that, um, they used to set their life. But what is happening right now, that aspect is not there, because the moment we put them in the schools, the whole motive is how best they can educated and then make money. Our goal is to make money, so that in that we get comforts and all that. So that is lacking. It's very important that in the early childhood, the children are given this transcendental knowledge that will sustain for their eternally till their the whole life. So lack of that. So varnashrama dharma is very important. Now the reason why I gave this background is, in the second shloka, it is said that they were on a bed which is very very comfort, and then they lost their time. So in the Gruha, in the Brahmacharya practice, they used to sleep on the bare floor, because when comforts is the enemy of the progress, whether it is material or spiritual, comfort is the that is the reason the term we use, sense gratification, right? The sense gratification is um, against the progress materially also, right? If you look at many stalwarts who have name, and they have contributed so much to the society in whatever form, in material society, their life is not so easy. Look at Steve Jobs. I'm just throwing just to get a perspective. His life versus a normal citizen life is totally different. This guy is, people consider him an eccentric, yes. All the stalwarts, eminent personalities, in one sense, they're eccentric, they're abnormal. They're not normal. They're not normal. They are so focused. He wanted to, I mean, whatever the platforms or the innovations that have come from Apple, he was day in, day out. He was constantly meditating on that. He's not living a comfort zone, comfort life from a normal human being perspective, normal citizen of the society. It's totally different. Now look at the Elon Musk. I heard. This is these names. There are so many people. I'm just taking these names just to demonstrate that how the comfort is an enemy of the progress in materially also. I heard he sleeps only 3 hours or 4 hours. Sometimes he sleeps at the work itself, because his goal is so different, not like me or the people in society. Is abnormal in one sense. Of course they are abnormal, they are normal, they are not normal at all. So this is very important. So when we are practicing this transcendental knowledge, we have to minimize our needs. The simple life that we live, that helps us to uh, realize, to practice, to meditate on the ultimate goal of the supreme life. Uh, Life. So this also right. Even Kunti Maharani pastimes also clearly demonstrated here. Even she says, "Oh Lord, give me the problems." Of course, don't dare to go and ask problems. We have enough problems, including me. I'm not going to ask for problems. But the spirit is, she's asking for problems. Why? If you look at whole Mahabharata, where the Kauravas and Kauravas, till the war is done, they were enjoying the all the lavish life. But whereas Pandavas, even though they were entitled to have those facilities, they were not given, and as a result they were in the in the forest. They were not living, and even they were going through so much torture. One time when they were in that house which which was built through this a material which can ignite that whole house, the plan was to kill them, but they were saved. But one thing we have to observe that all along, the Lord was with them. Whereas Kauravas were enjoying the life, the Lord is not with them. But whereas the Pandavas were suffering, going through so many problems, and the Lord was with them all the time, rescuing inundatedly. That is the reason Kunti Maharani is saying, what is more important for us, to be with the Lord or the Lord with us, not other things. If Lord is with us, what else we need? That understanding, how we get, by reading the scriptures and then meditating on the Supreme Lord. Those are the ways we can get. See, it is important. Recently, I was thinking, is it endeavor of the jivas is uh, important, or mercy of the Supreme Lord? So, which is comes first to attain the love of the Supreme Lord? So, in that sense, both are needed. Of course, if Supreme Lord's mercy is there, nothing, just the soul becomes. But at the same time, that mercy doesn't just come like that. There is need to be an endeavor from our side. There is need to be a deep desire, and that desire should manifest in our actions. See, we say this term Krishna conscious. What is that? See, Srila Prabhupada is very meticulously named his organization International Society for Krishna Conscious. He didn't say International Society for Lord Krishna. He used the word conscious. See, the conscious is very important. Why? If I am able to speak today, I am speaking now. Why? I am conscious. I am alive. That conscious is equal to alive, in my opinion. So eternally, as long as we are breathing, always we in should be in the remembrance of the Supreme Lord. That is what in the Bhagavad Gita Lord Krishna says, right? Satatam smarami. How we can remember him, how we can remember him all the time, right? See, there are profound lessons in the Bhagavad Gita. Very practically, he says how to, you have to be in in remembrance of me. And then he says, what your life going to be in the next, or how you are progressing. That will be depends on the conscious that you have at the time of leaving this body. When the soul leaves this body, in what conscious you are, that determines our next life. Now it also said, right, how this leaving the time when the soul is leaving the body, how torture, how it is difficult. So that is very difficult, it's very painful. So to be in that conscious throughout our life, we have to practice that, and that is what we call sadhana bhakti. So in sadhana bhakti, day in day out, we are practicing. We are like a toddlers. We will fall, we will, that is fine. See, the Lord says bhava. He is a bhavagrahi. Is not a like, okay, this person didn't do this thing. No, we are, other thing I want to mention is Gruhasthas. We go through so many problems, inundated. Don't look at the action. The bhava behind that action is important. Okay, say for example, something I'm supposed to do today, but I couldn't do it. It's not easy. But if you are constantly doing other activity, then you think I was supposed to do what I am not doing. Oh Lord, please help me. In that conscious, if you are, you, that is what the Lord sees. And He facilitates. Okay. Next time you are not put into that circumstance, you are not put into the situation, that He will facilitate. So endeavor is important as well as the mercy. Of course, even though if I am endeavoring, but Lord's mercy is not there, I'm not going to get that fruit. So both are important. How? The simplest analogy I would like to give is, if I want to thirsty, right? So when I'm thirsty, I need water. So for me, my endeavor is I have to go to the tap and open the tap and fill my glass and have it. Then my thirstiness will go away. So here, if we see the thirsty, the water as the mercy of the Supreme Lord, and we going to the tap and filling our glass is our endeavor. So both are needed for successfully receiving, attaining the Krishna's love. That is what it is. The whole life is nothing but simply be in that conscious day in, day out, perform our activities to best of our abilities, and always go to the Lord and beg. Have this personal relationship with the Lord. You should be able to talk to Him. He is no longer in the stone form. He is in the stone form, is there to have communication with us anytime. This is something that we need to cultivate. I don't know about, but I myself am saying I'm not at there, but I'm day in, day out. I'm trying my best to cultivate this habit. So here, that bed analogy I'm further extended to the comforts of the life. So the comforts of life, in one sense, are against our progress both materially and spiritually. So it is very important that we minimize our life, make it very simple. There is a saying, right? Simple living, high thinking. Okay, the last sloka where it is says, um, so by virtue of when they were indulging in this activity of sexual intercourse, time passes like that. So it is right. Any activities in this life, see, we make so many plans. There is a, this is since a new year. I want to hit that point too. We make so many resolutions, but as time passes, recently in the WhatsApp communication, I heard one very nice. Somebody was saying, they sent this message, wait for till January 6th, so that the traffic for gym will reduce, so you can peacefully go. And why he was saying the bhava means, in this new year resolution, the first um, couple of days, people are in the high uh, intoxicated. Okay, I have to perform this. That resolution will be there, and it's good. I'm not saying bad, it's very good. But to sustain the same level of intensity, to make it part of their daily lifestyle, to go for gym, means they should have a consistent. So for that, they have to do something that makes the task easy and consistent. So that is exactly what we are doing in even our spiritual practice, right? We have these do's and don'ts. We have to chant certain number of rounds, and that is not that Krishna is just, if I chant 16 rounds, I'm going to attend. No, that is just regulation. These regulation, one can chant one round or thousand rounds. So that bhava, that is need to be cultivated. So that is why these regulations are there, or these do's are there. When we do every day, it becomes our second nature, it becomes our habit. So when it is an habit, what happens, automatically you do that. So but of course, that should not become mundane, mechanical. It should be bhava we need to include. That bhava, with soul heart, we have to do. So these are the things I just want to bring out with this these slokas. It's very important. So uh, to be in summarize from the first sloka till this 46 sloka. So these Prabhupada says human beings with their vibhutis up to nine forms they can extend, but whereas Lord can expand into Ananta Rupa, which is demonstrated clearly during his Ras Leela dance in the Vrindavan. And this, and then we talked about how Varnashrama Dharma is very important for society. And then third one is how the comforts, sense gratification is the enemy of the progress. Therefore, we have this sadhana bhakti day in, day out. Uh, we have to be practicing every day so that we perfect our life within this lifetime. And the last one is when we are indulging these materialistic activities, the time just passes. There is a saying, right? Time and tide waits for none. So those are the 4 points I want to bring out in this particular reading. So, and if you have any comments or questions, feel free to ask. Thank you very much for your time. I'm very deeply indebted to you. Because of you, I was able to speak out my thoughts, and I'm not preaching to anyone, but I'm preaching to myself. And if there is something that you would like to share, please feel free to share. If not now, or offline too. And once again, thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.